Welcome to tonight's chilling tale from the shadowy depths of the unknown. If you are alone and the darkness seems to whisper your name, this story might make you think twice. Prepare yourself for the forgotten room. Last summer, my family and I moved into an old house in a quiet town. It was a large, old place with creaky floors and thick dust on the shelves. Despite its age, the house had a certain charm, except from one room that was always locked. We had been living there for a few weeks when my curiosity got the best of me. The room in question was on the second floor, at the end of a long hallway. The door was old, with a rust lock that looked like it hadn't been touched in years. I asked my parents about it, but they just said it was an old storage room, nothing special. On rainy afternoon, I decided to explore the house more thoroughly. I was alone. My parents had gone out for groceries, and my younger sister was at a friend's house. I walked up to the door, feeling the cold metal of the lock under my fingers. I pulled at the door, but it was stuck tight. The curiosity groaned at me, so I went looking for a way to open it. In the basement, I found an old toolbox. Inside, there was some rusty tools and a few items that looked like they hadn't been used in ages. I took a small crowbar and headed back upstairs, my heart racing with excitement. I tried to pry the door open, and after some effort, the door cracked and slowly swung open. The room inside was covered in dust and cobwebs. Old furniture was scattered around, and the air was thick with the smell of decay. There were boxes and stacks of an old newspaper, and a large mirror covered with a white sheet stood in the corner. I was about to leave and I noticed something strange. A large, old-fashioned wardrobe standing against the fall wall. The wardrobe was locked, but I could see something shining through the small keyhole. I felt a shiver run down my spine. I knew I shouldn't, but I drawn to it. I found a small screwdriver in the toolbox and managed to open the wardrobe's lock. Inside the wardrobe was empty, except for an old leather-bound book laying at the very back. I picked it up, dusting off the cover. The book was worn but had an intricate design on the front. I could barely make out of the title, The Secrets of the Forgotten. I took the book downstairs and began to read. The stories inside were unsettling, filled with strange rituals and dark ceremonies. The deeper I read, the more uneasy I felt. The book spoke of a powerful entity that could be summoned through a ritual in a forgotten room. As the evening approached, I heard my family returning home. I quickly hid the book in my room and tried to act normal. That night, as I tried to sleep, I heard faint whispers coming from the direction of the forgotten room. It sounded like someone was softly calling my name. I got up and tiptoed down the hall. The door to the forgotten room was slightly edged, though I was sure I had closed it properly. I pushed the door open and stepped inside. The room felt colder than usual, and the mirror in the corner was now uncovered. As I looked at the mirror, I saw something moving behind me. I spun around, but the room was empty. The whispers grew louder and the temperature seemed to drop even further. I felt a presence, something dark and menacing surrounding me. Suddenly the wardrobe cracked open on its own. I felt an icy breath on my neck and turned around to see the book laying on the floor open to a page, with the drawing of a shadowy figure The whispers became louder, more frantic. It felt like the air itself was alive with fear. I grabbed the book and ran out of the room, slamming the door behind me. My heart was pounding as I locked the door and went back to my room. I couldn't sleep that night, my mind racing with thoughts of what I had seen and heard. The next day, I told my parents about the strange occurrences, but they dismissed it as an overactive imagination. I decided to leave the book in the forgotten room and never go back. For the rest of the time we lived there, I avoided the room entirely. When we finally moved out of the house, I felt a huge sense of relief, but I often wondered about the book and the whispers I heard. To this day, I can't explain what happened, but I know one thing for sure. Some rooms are best left forgotten. Some doors should never be opened, and some secrets left burned. If you ever heard whispers from the darkness, remember this story and the room that should never have been disturbed. Until next time, stay safe and keep the shadows at bay.